I'll go ahead and go. Courtney, congratulations on another unblemished weekend. Obviously, phenomenal non-conference play, 17 game win streak, I guess it is now. So now that you've had a couple of days to soak all that in, you're starting SEC play. Just what are your thoughts on Georgia?
Thank you. Thank you. It's been a good start to the season. I think as we start prepping for the SEC portion of our season, it's like, all right, ready or not, here we go. Going into battle, and just knowing every weekend is going to be a huge test, a huge challenge, and that definitely starts with Georgia. They've also had a tremendous non-conference portion to their season so far. They play another game tomorrow evening, but they are what we thought they would be this year. They're swinging it really well, as Tony's teams always do. They've bulked up their bullpen and they're pitching really well. They're defending it at a high rate. I think they're one of the top five defensive teams in the country. So we know it's going to be a huge test, and we're going to, we've been diving into our prep, and we'll start prepping our team today.
I wanted to go back to Robin relief. I guess it was in the Omaha game. I looked back to that one and then the 9-8 Northwestern win. And I talked to her last week, and she had talked about how as she gets older, she enjoys relieving more, and not necessarily that she likes relieving more than starting, but she just
Hope
likes
she's
it
not
more.
getting any ideas.
Yeah, well, I know that obviously, and anybody who watches this team understands like she's going to do whatever she has to do to help this team win. But how much does that just, make you excited even more as a coach to hear it's different to be willing to do something and to actually want to do something. So just the fact that she actually enjoys that, and gives you an extra added piece, how does that make you feel?
Well, there's so many times that I just kind of I I don't know if this is the right word, but I just kind of like marvel at Rob sometimes, because where she is now, she has really fought to be. And so there's just like so many times of like I have this like pride and just like um I'm just really proud of her, because when you want to relieve, you want the moment, you want the game in your hands. And she has really fought to be that pitcher, and she's that pitcher. So like she's the pitcher that just wants the ball. She wants to pitch for her team, but she seeks out those big moments, and that wasn't always who she was. And so I think it's just it's huge to hear any of your pitchers say that, but when Robin Herron and who she is to this team is saying like, I want to relieve, and then what she's saying in that is, I want that moment, I want the big moment, I want the game in my hands, I want to be there for my team, and that's everything.
And the last one I got is, I know that everybody talks about like Rob and I guess Tal and Reagan Johnson, were your 2022 like original signees. But, you got to put Kaylee and Carly obviously in that just because they've been here for 2 years and so valuable to your senior class. And they both had just breakout weekends. Again, everybody knows they're great softball players, but for them to have that kind of weekend together, I know was really special.
Yeah, I mean, this team's really special, but the senior class is really special, whether they're here for 4 years, here for 2 years, here for 1 year. The other one you is Reese Burbank
Dakota,
in
yeah.
that mix. Yeah, Dakota, Tiana. We have a really strong senior class, and it's really cool to just see. It doesn't matter if they've been here their entire career, or if they're finishing here. Just how they've embraced our program, how they embrace, just being a Razorback. It's really, really special. And so, yeah, it's a special group all around.
So that's all I got for now. Thanks.
Mhm.
Hey Courtney, just you talked about Georgia's lineup, how good they've been. What makes it such a good lineup?
They swing, they swing it. They have a really good, I mean, Tony's teams have always swung it. They've always swung it for power. And so I think that they have a really good mix of power. They have some really potent lefty bats, and they just combo them really nicely. When you're looking at their, four biggest OPS hitters, they're like off the charts. It's like, dang, how are we going to get them out? Like, so that's Tony's teams. Those are Tony's teams. They always swing it really well and swing it with a ton of confidence.
Yeah, how do you feel like this past weekend facing a lot of teams that also swing the ball, maybe helped get y'all ready going into this SEC opening weekend?
Well, I think it's really gotten us ready. I think our non-conference schedule was built to get us ready. This past weekend were literally just teams that swung big, super aggressive, strong and physical. And that's especially, I mean, what we're going to get this weekend, but what we're going to get throughout the SEC season. So it's good. There's not much margin for error because they're going to swing big. And so if we miss, they're going to make us pay for it. And we saw that this weekend. We saw us make some adjustments and we're going to have to continue to do that through this part of our season.
Sweet. That's all I got.
Dudley?
Coach, talk a little bit. We knew the SEC is always going to be a great conference, but what are some of your early impressions of the schedule and field that you face?
My early impression is what my impression always is. It's really strong. The conference is really strong yet again. And as we kind of dive into, especially the schedule that we have, and you're kind of working one weekend at a time at this point, honestly. So I can speak to Georgia, I think, and then Alabama, and then we get a little, a break before we hit Florida. But it's strong. They swing it. I think that they have more arms in their pens that are just trying to stay ahead of the offensive game that we've become. And so it's just a lot of prep. We're prepping for a lot of arms, a lot of really talented arms, and they can all swing it. So.
And also, how nice is it to start the conference season at home?
It's very nice. It's very nice. It's good to be home. We like playing on the road too, but it was kind of cool, after Texas State, we're like, dang, we get to be home for 3 weeks. And it's really nice to play in front of our fans at Bogle and sleep in our own beds. And so it's really great to get to do that one more weekend.
Appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
Kyle?
Forgive me if this was covered already. I was on the beat for multiple sports this weekend, but I wanted to ask you about Hannah McEwen. She got to call the game, I guess maybe a couple of the games. And you look at KB Sides, Sydney Parley. I mean, you've had multiple of your former players that have called games. It's always special to have alumni back, but how cool is that to know that, not only they want to come back to Fayetteville, they want to call the games that their former coach is still, leading Arkansas.
Well, it's really special. And we've had some program greats in the booth, which is pretty amazing. But just the insight that they have, well, one, they just have great minds for the game, and they're so personable. And but they have the insight to our program and to us and our personalities. And it's, I had a TV call this morning, and they were asking about Hannah, and it's just like she knows who we are in and out. And she can speak to our prep. She can speak to us on the daily, and it means so much for them to want to come back. I think Briellis is coming back this to be in the booth too. She's going to be back this weekend in general. Is she in the booth this weekend?
I don't believe so. I think she's just back this weekend.
So yeah, but she'll be back, and so it's just she's coming back to work with Coach Gasso and just kind of be around and maybe see her big National Player of the Year thing on the concourse. But yeah, it means so much for our alums to just be proud and want to showcase that and highlight that. And it's pretty awesome to get to highlight them.
Yep.
Eric?
All right. I believe you've won 14 of your games via the run rule. Does this team have that extra gear, that motive, hey, let's close this game out, that maybe some other teams in their past haven't had? I mean, this team seems to have a different gear to close games out. Is that accurate?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I don't know what that gear is. I don't know if it's the gear to close games out or the gear just to score and play at a high level. I think it's more of the second, not necessarily the closeout, but just to we have a standard or expectation to play at a really high level. And so, yeah, I don't know exactly what it is. I'm not going to ask questions. I hopefully keep writing it out. But yeah, I think, is it 14 games? 14 games. And it was not by design. It was not by design. And a lot of innings that I wish we got to play.
But no, I mean, but you've done
There's a lot of innings I wish we got to play, but it's fun to see.
But yeah, I mean, you've done it against some quality teams. I mean, Virginia. I mean, I spoke to Joanna Harden. They still remember that beatdown, but they kind of made them better for it. But that they were like, wow, they just took it to a different level on that day. So you mentioned that comment to me, so I just wondered about that extra gear as the veterans realize, hey, let's not let them back in the game. Let's just close this out.
Yeah, I think I mean, it's got to be a piece of that, but I think more than anything, it's just like passing the bat to each other and having really great at bats. They're really talented hitters throughout, and it doesn't even there's not a let up when we get our, you know, 1 through 9, 1 through 10, but then when we get those other hitters in, there's no let up there either. And so it's just I think they're prepared, they're confident, they want to do it for each other, and if it's another gear, great. But I think it's just like the gear of like just wanting to compete at a high level more than anything.
You highlighted what makes a Georgia offense really good. What's the challenges of preparing for a Tony Baldwin led offense? What makes him such a great hitting coach that gets his teams ready to go from an offensive standpoint?
Well, his hitters always know exactly who they are. And there's so much to be said for that, but they are strong, they're physical. When they swing, they mean it. They don't get cheated. And they always are prepared. They know what they're hunting. And so a lot of times it's really trusting our spin and those big swings. And there's a lot of piece of like they're gonna they're gonna expose you for your misses, and so we have to be really confident with how we're pitching into their zones, and they're gonna make you be at your best.
We've spoken before the season about Brinley Bain and what she would bring. I would say she's brought a lot. Can I confirm that she's still a freshman? Number one, and number two, what have you seen from her? Hitting over 500. I mean, what has stood out to you seeing her in now against other competition?
Yeah, I don't like to use this, but I told you to look for her, right? I mean, she's just special. And I don't know that we expected that. You know, like we expected her to be really good. Obviously, we expect that, you know, out of everybody we recruit to come here. But the number she's putting up, it's crazy. She's a professional hitter. I mean, that's the best thing I can say is like she just doesn't have many bad at bats. If she has one, she learns from it. She learns from it in her at bat. She learns from at bat to at bat. She learns from seeing the hitters in front of her. She has really great hitters in front of her, and she's learning from them. And that is a skill that you don't usually see in a freshman. But she knows what she's hunting. She is so confident in who she is, but also she works for it. So confidence comes from knowing you're prepared and then seeing that prep show up, and she sees it show up because I've just never seen anyone with the work ethic that she has. And we have a culture of working, and she has taken it to a whole nother level. And so I can't say I'm surprised by the success that she's had because she works for it. She's very, very talented.
Kaylee, we always focus on the player when they first come to the program and how they do. It feels to me just from the outside, she's even more comfortable this year and confident than last week. And she had a great year last year, so I'm not saying, but she's even taking it to even a higher level to her standards. Do you sense that this year in her second year?
Absolutely. I absolutely sense that. And it's been really great to see her just really dive into the process. I know that she and Coach Gasso were working on a few things in the fall, and it didn't necessarily show up in the result, but you could see the progress of the process, and it's showing up now and then some. And so I think there's a lot to, give her so much praise for that too, going into your senior year and having the career that she's had and still knowing there's more out there for her, and then staying the course and letting that work kind of come, even though it didn't necessarily show up right away. She just trusted the work, and it's showing up now. And the best part of it is just seeing her just like play with so much joy. I think that one thing about Kaylee is that she's always steady Eddie, like she's just like super steady, and she hasn't always played with a ton of expression. And I just remember I like have this vivid picture in my mind of this picture of her from the Omaha game, and she has just this massive smile. And I sent it to her. I'm like, this picture, because that's what we like to see is like all that prep, all that process of really getting in the weeds and like really getting just that joy of just performing and enjoying it. And that was a long answer to say that I'm just really happy for her and I'm proud of her.
My last question there. Give me an area in this series that not really a lot of people are going to focus on, but you think will make the difference that you as coaches know that's a key part of this series?
The defense. I mean, both teams can flat swing it. I think both teams have a lot of arms that they're relying on that complement each other really well. Both teams can flat defend it too. And I think that in the explosive offenses that we're going to have this weekend, I think one of the separators is going to be who gives up less of those extra 60, who makes them earn everything that they're going to get. And so I think that's the piece that's going to be the separator this weekend.